Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. This is Brian Keith Noonan. Thank you for tuning in to High Noon Live. Ideas to take you higher. Seem to be having some slow motion stuff going on here. Hopefully that will not last. I have a very fast internet connection, so I'm just going to share this over into the event real quick, and we will get on with it. Today's topic is what to do when you feel like shit. So stand by, wait a couple of minutes for people to join us. This is High Noon Live, number 5. Something I started for entrepreneurs to get a midday boost and focus on ideas that will move them forward in their life and business. If you're on right now, please give me a thumbs up that you can hear and see me. I think I'm gonna actually, I'll wait to share this into the actual event. Well, I've been experimenting with different ways to do this, and the way I believe it's gonna be best is to go on live on my timeline and then share it over into onto my page and then into the event. So if you haven't liked the One Coach page yet, please do. Appreciate your support, and then you'll get notifications of when I'm going live like this for High Noon and other fun stuff that we're doing. So the One Coach, what the heck is that? Am I the only coach? No, I'm not. But my tagline is life and business aren't separate for entrepreneurs. So you've heard of life coaches, you've heard of business coaches, and I take a holistic approach, combining work with outer skills like sales, marketing, and systems with inner skills like stance and mindset and your purpose or your why. And I do that because from my experience in my own life and working with clients and what I've seen out and about in the wild, sustainable success isn't possible without all those things. So you need the inner game and the outer game. And life and business for entrepreneurs isn't separate. So we have to treat the whole thing as one organism and make sure all your main pillars are firing on all cylinders, so to speak. Your health, your relationships, your business, of course, and something I call pragmatic spirituality, which I'll get into in a little bit. But if everything is working at a high level, then you have a chance at high levels of success that are sustainable, things that work and keep working. So, topic for today of High Noon Live. Welcome, everybody. Ryan, Jan, Robbie, Jim, Todd, Tiffany, good to see you all. So, what to do when you feel like shit? Everybody feels like shit sometimes, right? Okay, feel like shit about something is what I'm talking about. So, what do we do when we feel like shit? Well, what I've found is the answer is a counterintuitive one. Like many things I've found as I've grown older and wiser, especially for us entrepreneurs, more type A personalities. If we're having a problem or a challenge, which I prefer to call them, but we have a challenge and it's kicking our ass, our response is to just go at it harder, right? You know, I got to solve this, got to make this happen, I've got to work this out. And typically we can work ourselves into a frenzy, which often makes the problem or challenge seem a lot bigger than it is, and also tends to contract our resourcefulness and contract our ability to see all the options. And that is not a good place to be when trying to solve a problem. So what do you guys do? What do you guys like to do when you're feeling like shit about something? I mean, I think what I believe is called the amygdala, part of our brain, that fight or flight lizard brain, our primitive side of our brain, if we're faced with a challenge, we are in that fight or flight mode. So stress goes up and adrenaline, and typically we attack the problem even harder and harder and harder, and typically we'll dig ourselves into a bigger hole. So what I'm going to suggest in terms of when you feel like shit about something is a very simple answer, which you may or may not like, but if you haven't tried this, I would highly recommend it. You may not believe that this is a good thing to do, but if you're feeling like shit about something, do something else. Interrupt that pattern of negative thinking that I talk about a lot on here, which is really negative focus. So we're focusing on something that we can't control, or at least can't control at that moment. So if we step away from it by using sort of a pattern interrupt, whatever flavor you like, and then get back to it afterwards, we have a much better chance of taking then inspired action to solve whatever is bothering us. So that could be meditating. That could be taking a walk, could be taking a break, drink some water, eat something, move your body, take a nap, do something that would or could contribute to your own happiness and the happiness of someone else. Call your grandma or your mom. They haven't heard from you in a while. What do you guys think of that? We got a pretty good audience here. What's your experience with when you're having a struggle with something, either going at it harder, fighting it right into combat, or step away, let things settle a little bit, distract yourself by focusing on something that is not a loaded subject for you, and then coming back to it. What's up, Brian? High Noon Live, these live episodes that I'm doing a few times a week, the idea of it came from the awareness that many entrepreneurs they're going at it on their own. Even if they have teams, they don't have a lot of interaction on positive ideas and tactics and strategies and things unless they're involved with a coach or a mastermind, which I highly recommend. I happen to be one of them. But whether it's me or someone else, if you haven't invested in yourself in coaching or associating with a group of people, a group of like-minded people to help move you forward and very importantly, keep you accountable, there's no return on investment like investing in yourself. So this is for you and for interaction, and we have a pretty good crowd. So please let loose in the comments what to do when you feel like shit about something. And Tiffany says focusing on something else always helps. I don't always do it. Yes, that's the thing. The awareness that the counterintuitive thing, so what your first impulse is figure it out, attack the problem, work harder at it. You can do it. You can defeat it. You can make it happen. Yes, you can. Okay. But you're only going at it from a contracted, stressed out, limited, perhaps fearful place that never leads to the best solutions. So you're going to bang your head against the wall and bang it against the wall, and most likely not solve the problem in that state. Ryan bottles it up inside, puts a cap on it, and go create massive action. maybe not healthy, but that's what I do. Yeah, well, what I'm suggesting isn't that far off on that from that. And all I'm really saying is, however you think about it, we want to get to the massive action. Okay, I am in no way suggesting that there's not going to be massive action on this thing. What I'm suggesting is get yourself into a state where you can be feeling good and take what I call inspired action, and then go at it. Yes, we absolutely. This is not a non-action program, so to speak. All about taking the action, but taking that step away and regroup, recharge, refocus in a way that is not making, not stressing you out, frustrating you, making you frantic, panicking, fight or flight type of mode. So I appreciate that input. Yes, as entrepreneurs and humans in general, we need to take massive action on things. And that's a whole other conversation. I touched on that on the previous episode here, number 4 of High Noon Live. We talked about what didn't get done this week and why. And we absolutely have to prioritize and take that preferably leveraged action. And what I mean by leveraged action is, what is the one thing I can do about this right now that would make everything else easier or unnecessary? That's called the focusing question. That's from a book called The One Thing by Gary Keller, that if you haven't read it, you absolutely positively should. I've read it about 5 times and I always get more out of it. I'm not suggesting that all you do is read, but a few minutes every day will go a long way of reading the right stuff and implementing some of these things in your life and business, in terms of working from clarifying your purpose or your why, and creating priorities based on that, and then the productivity and the profits will follow. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to High Noon Live. It's Brian Keith Noonan, the One Coach. Interested in hearing anything that you all have to say. I appreciate the interaction. That's the idea of this. This is supposed to be a place where entrepreneurs can come for a midday boost and interact with like-minded people, get some good ideas to take you higher. So I want to get over to meditation a little bit, because that's one thing that I use a lot to create these pattern interrupts. And in terms of, I had an interesting experience. I was over at the Charleston Tibetan Society this weekend for a meditation class. So they're Buddhist meditation place. And it really struck me that, and this ties in with so many things that I believe about thinking and focus and meditation, but spirituality, and what I call pragmatic spirituality, is really nothing but controlling your mind and your focus. Now, spirituality often gets grouped in with religion, and that's fine if that's your thing, but I'm talking about the type of spirituality that gets results, and the results come from managing our focus and controlling our mind. Now, nobody's going to control. When we talk about negative thinking, you can't control your negative thoughts. I mean, they're going to come. Okay, we're going to have thoughts. We're going to have self-doubt. We're going to feel like we suck, or say things to ourselves like, "Why does this always happen?" or "Why do I keep getting myself into these messes?" or whatever. And those things can happen in business, and they can happen with health. It can happen with relationships and so forth. So they can happen in any area of life. And those things are going to come. But what separates the people that get the best results from everybody else is the ability to focus on something else, something that isn't a loaded topic, something that they're not banging their head against the wall on, something that's not kicking their ass, just for a minute. Even though there's urgency to take action and solve that problem, taking 15 minutes to do something like meditate and refocus your mind or move your body. Tony Robbins says motion is emotion. So just changing that state brings you back to some place where you can really take action that counts. So I was getting into, this idea of pragmatic spirituality, and spirituality is a loaded word, and I don't consider myself to be a woo-woo kind of guy, those people. However, I definitely believe in connecting to and aligning with what I would consider my higher self. And for some people that might be God, that might be the infinite intelligence, could be the spirit of the universe, could be the force, okay? Might have seen my post from this weekend with the stormtrooper and the other guy from the I don't know enough about Star Wars, I don't even know it, but the Imperial guy. But may the force be with you, okay? So whatever works for you, connecting and aligning with that periodically, even if it's just 15 minutes a day. Sometimes I go for a couple of 15-minute sessions. I advocate meditation because it works. Not for any, not woo reasons, but that shit works. And I get results from meditating because by taking that 15 minutes of nothingness and mindfulness, then the actions I take afterward and the inspiration I get afterward are so much more powerful. Who else has experience with meditation in terms of refocusing your mind, whether it's as a pattern interrupt or connecting with a higher self or God or whatever you term it to be? Yeah, you'll hear me talk about meditation a lot. Because I think the biggest problem is with humans, and we're focused on entrepreneurs here, but the biggest problem with humans in general is that we have those negative thoughts flying around that we can't control, and we believe them. So attaching belief to those things is what makes us feel bad and so forth. So we're talking about what to do when you feel like shit, all right? Meditation is not the only answer, I get it, but it's a lot better than, escaping on Netflix for a few hours or sedating with drugs and alcohol or whatever multitude of things that we could do to get out of that feeling. Some meditation, some exercise, a nap will go a much longer way. And what I've been talking about, if you're just tuning in, is that when we're facing a challenge, when we feel like shit about something, to step away for a few minutes and interrupt that pattern and refocus will go a much longer way and is much more sustainable than going at it like gangbusters and fighting it and going to war with this problem or challenge that is kicking your ass at the moment. And in terms of how to avoid feeling like shit as often in general, is to take these little breaks preemptively. So once you start feeling negative about something or stressed or urgent, like, oh, it's got to happen right now, I've got to make this happen, it's life or death, and we blow these things up in our head. Once you start feeling like that, step out of it for 15 minutes doing something. Take a walk, meditate, take a nap, move your body. And by doing that preemptively, before we even get to the point of feeling like shit, so we just maybe feel a little bit off, do that thing first. Do it preemptively, do it before you need to. And it keeps you from going into a tailspin about something. So we're drifting into feeling off, and we're using ABC, meditation, walk, nap, whatever works for you, to shift back onto course, on task, on point. Colleen says, get some clarity and perspective, good advice. Yeah. And another great pattern to interrupt is just do something that would contribute to your happiness and someone else's. I think I mentioned this before, but call your mom, call your grandma. They haven't heard from you in a while. Call a friend. Get out of your own head, because being in our head and believing our negative thoughts and focusing on those negative thoughts, these challenges that we have, they can all be handled a lot better objectively than in the heat of the moment and the emotion and whatever stress, fear, frustration is attached to it. Gloom and doom of how if I don't get this client, my family's going to end up in the street. It hasn't happened yet, right? So the world's not going to end. The sky's not falling. Take 15 minutes and step out and do something good for yourself that could contribute to your happiness and someone else's. Meditate, hydrate, take a nap. All right. I didn't put my do not disturb thing on my phone. Sorry, guys. We good about that. So, unless anybody has any other questions or comments, I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm seeing some faces I haven't seen in a while, so that's really nice. Last year on my birthday, I wrapped up my marketing agency, which a lot of you are more familiar with in terms of what I do for a living. And I've gone into coaching entrepreneurs full time, pursuing that passion, and I'm loving it. So creating a forum like this is a way for me to get back to the entrepreneurial community, place for like-minded people to come, exchange some positive ideas, things that'll move their life and business forward. And I'm here at high noon Eastern, so 12 p.m. Eastern. Right now, 3-4 days a week I'm doing this. Just want to make sure that I have something together and worthwhile to share with you. If you haven't invested in coaching, my life really changed when I invested in coaching. First thing was with a mastermind group, a high-end mastermind group. And you don't realize how many blind spots you have. You're all intelligent people. You're all high achievers. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a unique breed of person. But we all get stuck. We all feel like shit about some stuff sometimes. And hopefully what we went over today will help you with that. If you try these things, they'll work. If you're not sure how to meditate, I have some recommendations for that. If you see any topics that we talk about on these live sessions that you want to know more about, just message me. I don't bite. Happy to guide you in the direction of different apps and systems I use and recommend to my clients. Any books that I talk about on this that you want to check out, whatever the case is, any of the details. But having someone to use as a sounding board, a mentor, and an accountability partner is really priceless. Sometimes we just don't know. Sometimes we don't know that we don't know something. And the idea of having that person who's outside of our head, ideally someone who has achieved the things that you want to, someone you get along with, but to have that person to talk to and guide you in what you're doing, whether it's on the outer skills of sales and marketing and systems for your business, or the inner stance and mindset and purpose, is really invaluable. So I'm going to wrap this up here. I like to keep this to about 30 minutes. Does anybody else have anything else to say? Topic today was what to do when you feel like shit. And if you are tuning in late, please watch the replay. It's on my timeline. All right, going once. So, as a coach, I am in the process of enrolling for a couple of groups, and I also have a couple of one-on-one slots open. So if you're thinking about coaching and you're an entrepreneur who has had some success, but it's not consistent perhaps, or you've plateaued at a certain level and it's not feeling fulfilling, you're bored or you're burnout, reach out to me for a conversation. Happy to talk to you. And if I'm not qualified or not your guy to work with, I will point you in the best direction I can think of, including to someone else who may be a better coach for you. All right. This list is like a welcome to your life. Hey guys, Becky Manu, Makas now. Good stuff. Great to see all you guys. I'm going to wrap this up. This has been High Noon Live, number 5, what to do when you feel like shit. This is Brian Keith Noonan, the one coach. Life and business are not separate for entrepreneurs. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you later this week. High Noon Live, 12 p.m. Eastern. Please like my page at The One Coach so you get notifications of when I'm going live. Appreciate all of you. Bye-bye.